Hello all you baby bats and bad witches, it's Marilyn, and for this video I'm going to be doing 3 looks using one palette. I'll be using the Melt Cosmetics Waiting Room palette, and this was one of my most anticipated products for 2020, and I'm so glad that I finally got it in my hands. I've actually had it for a while but didn't actually sit down to do makeup looks up until now, and since it was a limited release, I do know that it has since been sold out. I just looked it up online to see if there's any still available, and there's just terrible makeup resellers that have it on there. The most expensive one that I saw was over $900 with shipping and everything. It's ridiculous. It was for the entire collection, so I don't honestly think it's worth that much. If you missed out on this collection, I would say to just dupe it out. It's one of my favorite color schemes. It's just a whole bunch of grays, reds, and black and white. This is mainly just going to be inspiration for different looks to do with this palette or similar colors. You don't have to recreate this using this exact palette. I have many other shadows from other palettes that are really similar to this, and I'll be breaking down each color just so that I can give you a good description for you to follow along with my looks. With all that being said, I will be using every single shade in this palette in this video, but I'm really curious, and if you did get this collection, make sure to let me know down below, or if you're just watching it for some inspiration. While you're down there, make sure to also check out the description box for a link to all of my social media to check out all of my latest looks that I post on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok as well. Let's get started. To start off this look, I'm filling in my eyebrows using the shade Charman. Next, I'm picking up the shade Shrunken Head on the Motor Pro Smoky Eye Brush. This is the lighter gray of the palette, and I wanted to show just how much pigment I get from that one dip. Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow formula is one of my favorite, and I already know from experience that these are really pigmented, so I'm tapping off as much as I can and using this as a transition shade. And even though I went in with a lighter hand for this, you can see how easy it is to blend out this super pigmented buttery formula. Once I'm happy with the blend of this transition, I'm going to be going straight in with that color into the crease where I want it to be the darkest. When I first was able to see this palette in person, I was pretty shocked to see that the grays in here looked almost taupe. They had a green, kind of grayish undertone to them, but actually when you put that on someone like me that has a warm olive skin tone, it actually makes it take away any of the ashiness that you would think that comes with a gray eyeshadow. These don't come off too dark or unflattering and are pretty much the most perfect gray eyeshadow. Next, I'm dipping into the matte black called Charman, and for that I'm using the Moto Pro detail brush. I'm tapping off any of the excess product, and I'll be slowly building up my crease and darkening up the eye. Lydia Deetz is one of my favorite Tim Burton characters, and so when I saw this palette that was made inspired by her color scheme, I freaked out because, of course, my favorite eyeshadows are red and my favorite color is gray, so altogether this is definitely my dream palette. My favorite Lydia Deetz quote is, "My life is a dark room. One big dark room." I mainly love it because it actually shows up in an AFI song. And to finalize the perfect blend, I'm going between the black and lighter gray with that darker shade Tombstone. I love a sexy smoky eye, but of course this can get kind of boring, so to amp it up, I'm applying the NYX Glitter Primer to the center of the lid where I'm going to be putting on some metallic eyeshadow. All of the metallics on the top row are really consistent and pigmented, but for this look I'm choosing the shade Sod Girl. This shadow is a gorgeous metallic magenta with tiny particles of purple reflect in it. This is the only one of the metallic shades that has that glitter particle in it, and that's why I used the NYX base underneath it. The brush that I'm using is the e.l.f. J2. I actually meant to pick up the J1, so I switched over to my finger, which is the method I would recommend for this shadow anyway. You can't really tell how gorgeous the purple in this color is on camera, but I promise you in person it's so gorgeous. And to frame this eyeshadow even better, I'm going back in with the shade Charman to deepen up the edges. Now to prep for the lashes, I'm giving myself a little curl and adding the NYX matte eyeliner. I don't want to take away any of the attention from the main eyelid color, so I'm just going to smudge out the edges of this wing into the black. This is the Supernatural Lash Mascara in Ultra Black that's made in this limited edition Beetlejuice packaging for this collection, but I do know that Melt is going to be rolling this out as a permanent addition to their line. I honestly don't have the best natural eyelashes, but I really love the way that this mascara just makes them super black, clump free, and nicely separated. I don't find that it transfers, and it's also really comfortable to remove. Overall, I really love the packaging on this. The sandwormies are so cute, and to me it leaves a really natural look onto your lashes. But of course this is not a natural look. My favorite eyelashes for smoky eyes are by Glam Goth Beauty in the style Rockstar. To finish off the rest of the face, I'm adding the Just Bare blush by LA Girl Cosmetics and lining my lips with the NYX lip liner in Hot Cocoa. Next, I'm pulling out my Anastasia Beverly Hills lip palette with the shade number 12, which is a really nice medium tone magenta. I'm just taking the tiniest bit out with the spatula and then applying it to my lips using this small eyeshadow brush by Wet n Wild. I haven't worn a lipstick in this shade in a very long time, and I really love the way that it looks, especially paired with the eye. And this is the completed look. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. For this next look, I'm starting off with the shade Obituary on a large flat paddle brush. This one is by Milani. Melt Cosmetics is so good at the really dark and scabby reds, but this one is really dark, so to sheer it out and blend it to make it a little bit lighter, I'm going in with the Clean Moda Pro detail brush. Next, I'm dipping into the white shade Sandworm with a similar brush to the one that I just used, but this one is by Milani, and I'm going to be using this under the brow bone and towards the crease to really brighten up this look. I'm cutting the crease using the NYX Glitter Primer with the Royal and Langnickel Pointed Lip Brush. The shape that I'm going for on this eye look is really angular and sharp, so I'm cutting my crease into a wing. Next, I'm using my favorite eyeshadow out of this entire palette. It's called Lydia, and it's a bright metallic red. I love the way that these metallics apply with your finger, but since I'm going for a really specific placement, I find that it works better when applied using a synthetic brush. So for this, I'm using the Wet n Wild small eyeshadow brush. No Exit is a deep maroon. I'm going to be using this to redefine my wing along the shimmer. To really get in there into that crease, I'm applying it using an angled brush by Moda Pro. This is such a unique shade. Although it does have that red tone to it, it almost has a hint of purple, more like a black cherry. As intense as these pigments are, I do want to blend it out one more time with that clean brush just to make sure that everything is as seamless as possible. And to complete the lid, I'm going to be adding a smoky winged liner. First, I'm laying down the NYX Epic Wear liquid liner, and then I'll be smoking it out with the shade Charman. To precisely place this eyeshadow and smoke it out, I'm using the Moda Pro angled brush. For the wing, I'm just following along the lines that are already there in the crease and on the lid, and then going through and pointing the inner corner. I couldn't believe how easy it was to do it with this eyeshadow. I really fell in love with all the shapes here and the technique to do this inner corner. Moving on to the lower lash line, I really wanted to make it pop, so I'm taking that same Lydia shade on the tiny lip brush and smudging it all under my eye. I love a metallic under eye. This topper shade Juno is perfect. I'm going to be layering this on in between those two inner corner points along with the shade Sandworm. I had to mix the two together since Juno is a topper shade. It didn't have any of the brightness to it, so I really love the white in this palette as well. It does really come in handy. For lashes, I added the Supernatural Lash in Ultra Black with the Glam Goth Beauty Beauty Queen eyelashes. And for the lips, I added the Nurse Liquid Lipstick by Sugar Pill lined with the Hot Cocoa Lip Liner by NYX. And this is the completed look. For this eyeshadow, I'm starting off with the shade Obituary. I'm going for a full glam cut crease, so I'm packing on all the pigment using the Moda Pro shader brush. To deepen the outer corners of the eye, I'm taking the shade No Exit with the Moda Pro detail brush. Next, I'm cutting my crease using the e.l.f. Fair Warm Camo Concealer and the Moda Pro concealer brush. Then working the excess concealer onto my outer corners with my finger. And to set the concealer, I'm picking up the shade Sandworm on the e.l.f. J1 brush. I hope you can really tell how gorgeous and opaque this white shade is. It's stunning in person. And to finish off this eye, I'm going to be adding some shimmers onto the outer corner. First, I'm going in with Dante's Inferno to blend between the crease and the lid shade. I would describe this color as a metallic reddened copper. I could really see this and all of the metallic shades in this palette as a sort of one and done eyeshadow for every day. And to finish off the lid, I'm adding Juno for that perfect silver sparkle. All the little reflect in here is so chunky, so I had to blend it out using the small shader brush, as well as taking down all of the crease shades to the under eye. To complete this eye look, I'm just adding a thin band of the NYX Epic Wear liquid liner. And this is gonna be just to help hide the band of my eyelashes, which are Glam Goth Beauty in the style Hollywood. And my lip combo for this look was the NYX Hot Cocoa lip liner, of course, along with their lip lingerie in the shade Corset. I was really impressed with how bright my eyelid was, so I wanted to match my eyebrows, and I actually ended up running some of the Danessa Myricks White Vision Cream Cover Foundation. And this is the completed look. Thank you so much for watching my 3 looks 1 palette using the Waiting Room palette by Melt Cosmetics. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel as well. For a closer look at all of my makeup, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at MarilynMugBeat. I'll see you next time. Bye!